legacy sequel. Let's do it. And this one really does copy the formula of the original almost beat for beat. Drebin's kicked off the force, police squad shut down when they're investigating somebody they shouldn't be investigating. Midway through, Drebin and the love interest have the romantic montage to a cheesy song, and the climax takes place at a big sporting event, just like the original. All that being said, if you go into this film looking for an original plot, a comprehensive plot, or even thinking remotely about the plot or the story at all, you're going to the wrong film. As you've probably heard already, this film is a complete throwback to the David Zucker-esque spoof comedy films of yesteryear, i.e. the original Naked Gun. And it was really cool to experience a new kind of spoof comedy like that again in 2025, with that classic spoof comedy humor, the visual puns, the verbal puns, the dry deadpan humor from the protagonist who's completely oblivious to the outlandish stuff going on around him, like the rest of the characters as well. The kind of spoof humor that they just don't do anymore, and that's why it was so cool to experience it in a brand new film in 2025. Some of the lines and jokes in this film just got a good chuckle out of me, because it's really simple, but it's also really smart at the same time. For example, there's a scene where Drebin Jr. Liam Neeson asks the bad guy to see some CCTV footage, and he goes, "I want to see your security footage." And the bad guy goes, "Can I ask why?" And Neeson goes, "Yes, you can." And there's another scene with Neeson and Pamela Anderson, and Pamela Anderson's character mentions something about college, and Neeson goes, "UCLA? Yeah, I see it every day when I look out my window." I just love that style of humor, the pun humor, the dad joke humor, and it's throughout this entire film. And it got consistent chuckles out of me, consistent smiles and grins. I wouldn't say the film for me was laugh out loud hilarious, and not every joke landed. There were a couple of scenes where they're going for a joke and I just wasn't responding to it, especially the montage where they're falling in love, the snowman coming to life and trying to kill them. Yeah, nah. And I gotta say, Liam Neeson really throws himself into this comedy, and his deadpan delivery is, again, completely in spirit with Leslie Nielsen's character from the original, and he fits this film like a glove. I think it was kind of a perfect casting for Frank Drebin Jr. And do you remember after Taken, he was given all those action films? Expect him to get a lot of comedy roles after this film. The Naked Gun had one job to do, which is to revitalize the spoof comedies of old, and he did a bang job of it. Again, not laugh out loud hilarious for me, but I was smiling, I was grinning, I was chuckling through almost the entire film. It made me forget about things on my mind for an hour and 20 minutes, which, by the way, perfect runtime, does not overstay its welcome whatsoever. If you've never seen the original Naked Gun or any of those old spoof comedies and you're not familiar with this style of spoof humor, I'm not entirely sure if you're going to respond to this film or not, because I think it is kind of tailored towards people who are familiar with the original Naked Gun and that style of humor. Maybe this film could be your introduction to that kind of humor and you want to see more of it, perhaps. That's why it's tricky to recommend the film or not. As somebody who really enjoys the original Naked Gun after watching it for the very first time yesterday, and also somebody who has a bit of a guilty pleasure soft spot for Scary Movie 3 and 4, I had a good time with this film.